Welcome to Inspiring Business with your host, Mark Bullock, who is the co-founder of videosocials.net and of videointerviewpodcast.com. In every episode, Mark interviews business and organizational thought leaders who share their stories of how they inspire others by making a difference. You can find this show on videosocials.net and YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and almost any podcast platform of your choosing.
Welcome, and today I am delighted to have as a guest and a client, Anjel Burgess. Now, Anjel is a Social Security disability attorney with Burgess and Christensen. She is in Georgia, but because it's federal law that she works with, she can work with anybody in the country. Wonderful to have you, Anjel. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me, Mark.
Terrific. So we've known each other a little while, not all that long, but I really love what you do. I think it's so important and it makes such a difference for people. But I always like to ask, those that are on my podcast, what got you there? What's your story? How did you end up helping people with Social Security disability?
Well, my story involves a few curves. But everything happens for a reason. I started out working in high school at a retirement community and fell in love with working with, elderly individuals. And I've always had this passion for helping people. And so since that was really the first population that I was introduced to via work, I decided I am going to be a doctor. I'm going to become a geriatrician, which is a doctor for the elderly. And I started like full steam ahead on that path. So I went to college. I majored in zoology, which at NC State, that's a part of the pre-med curriculum. I was not a lover of animals, but that was just a part of the pre-med curriculum. And while I was in college, I worked at an assisted living facility for individuals with memory impairments.
Okay.
So I worked in that job pretty much my entire 4 years of college, loved it, loved working with people that I felt were underserved, that I could help. And so that actually sent me to graduate school to study gerontology, which is aging.
Right.
And in part of my studies, the program required you to look at different facets, right? So it's not just the medical part. You're looking at, sociological aspects of aging. You're looking at advocacy. And when I was in grad school, things kind of switched a little bit for me. And I realized, I love working with the underserved, but I would make a really good advocate. Maybe not, working as a doctor, but I could really advocate for people. And so it was at that point in time that I decided, maybe I'm a better lawyer or would be a better lawyer than a doctor. And so that sent me to law school. And so, working through law school and just learning about different populations, I really came to understand that, my desire to help the elderly was based really in my desire to help those that I didn't feel got the attention that they deserved, had the zealous advocacy they deserved. And I decided that I wanted to work with people with disabilities. So after law school, I got my trial experience. I went to a firm and did defense work, which is part of my plan because I think it's important if you're going to advocate for people to know the other side. So I worked in a defense firm for a couple of years, and then I landed my dream job, which is working at a Social Security disability law firm.
Okay.
And the funniest thing about it, Mark, is part of my job as a Social Security disability attorney is I am helping people, adults and children, to prove that they have conditions. So medical conditions that can be physical, that can be psychological, and that those conditions impact them, in such a significant way that they qualify for disability. So I
Mm-hmm.
read medical records. I read medical records. And it's so funny that I started off thinking, oh, I want to be a doctor, and I read medical records all day, but I'm able to advocate. So I take
Right.
what I learned from the medical records and I present, my client's case, and I help them to get these disability benefits. So that's why I say it's full circle with a few curves, but I'm very blessed and fortunate to do what I love.
Yeah, but even with the curves, it sounds like they're, it's almost sister industries to a large extent, because not everybody in law is there to help people, but you certainly are, and you needed some of that medical focus to be able to really do what it is that you do. So it's really, um, I want to say it's perfect. I mean, it's very cool. It's very cool. And just to kind of wrap up your story, now you're basically in practice for yourself. You have a partner.
So my partner is deceased. So I, started with the firm 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, he hired me in as an associate, and I worked my way up to partner. And so he is now deceased. I took over the firm almost 6 years ago, and just have continued, the legacy of the firm. He was very much a respected member of the community who, we were very aligned on our goals and who we wanted to serve
Mm-hmm.
In our community. So it's been wonderful.
Well, that's, sorry to hear it, but also glad that you carried on that legacy. So, getting into kind of the brass tacks a little bit, I'm sure that a lot of people would really like to know, who can qualify for Social Security disability, and is it partial disability, full disability? How does that work?
Sure. So Social Security disability, first, it's a federal program. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a program that helps individuals, including children. So children can qualify for Social Security disability if they have medical conditions, which could be physical, psychological, or both,
Mm-hmm.
or a child that prevent them as a child from, acting and performing in an age-appropriate manner.
Right.
So those conditions are so significant that they are disrupting, the quality of these children's lives, and they need the additional resources that disability offers.
Mm-hmm.
For adults, if you are, from 18 up until full retirement age,
Mm-hmm.
You can qualify for disability benefits if you are unable to work full-time because of the conditions that you have. And so, it's a program that is offering a monthly check. So it provides financial support.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing for most people is it does provide health care. So
Right.
you get insurance, which is critical for people that have conditions
Yeah.
that are impacting their functioning.
Absolutely. And so you said if you're unable to work full time, so I guess it is possible to have like a partial disability, or you can work part time, but you need help.
So there's no such thing as partial disability.
Okay.
However, you can work part-time and still receive disability benefits.
Okay.
So, and there are many people that are receiving disability, but because of their conditions, they're just not able to do the full-time work. Part-time is the most that they're able to sustain.
Right.
And so they're able to draw their disability benefits and also work.
Terrific. So, well, how does somebody know though if they qualify for Social Security disability?
I would say, if we're talking about a child, if you have a child with conditions that are, requiring, from a physical standpoint, a lot of doctor's appointments that are affecting the child's ability to function in school. Maybe the child's taking medication and that medication isn't helping the child to perform in the way that he or she should be able to. There are also children that have more psychological based conditions that
Mm-hmm.
are, again, maybe they're not able to learn at the level that, a child their age should be able to learn. So if you're a parent that has a child with disabilities, then you have to qualify financially in order for the child to receive the benefits. So the best thing
Right.
to do if you're a parent with a young child is to reach out to, a Social Security disability attorney and see whether your child qualifies. Now, for an adult,
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at the ability to work full time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you are working and you are having trouble showing up to work, doing the work that you're supposed to do, and you're receiving medical treatment, you're taking medications, none of it is helping you to do the job that you're supposed to do,
Right.
you should consider disability.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never worked and you're an adult and you've never worked because you've got conditions that keep you from working, then you need to consider also applying for disability.
Right.
And any attorney can consult with you and give you an idea as to whether or not the circumstances, your particular circumstances, could warrant an approval for disability benefits.
Well, and I'm going to put in a plug for you because although any attorney might be able to do it, the fact is you can work nationwide and you're eminently qualified to do it. And really, one of the things we work with each other, right? So you've created videos, you've got blog posts, you've got a lovely website, et cetera. You've got a lot of free information out there. You've got a podcast.
Yes.
An interview podcast as an example. What was the name of the podcast?
The podcast is called The Disability.
That's right. So there'll be links below, folks, for this and everything else. But your disabilityhelpline.com is your website. Your Anjel Burgess with a J on LinkedIn. Your Burgess and Christensen on Facebook, and you have a YouTube channel. Under Burgess and Christensen as well. And again, folks, there'll be links for all of this. But one of the things that I want to get across and why we work together is because we've created services for people like you who are making a difference in the world, who need to get the word out and want to provide information that's of value, that's informational and educational for those that you serve. And you're exemplary of that in all of those links that I just gave. And our services through Practice Marketing Inc. are inclusive of things like doing videos, writing blog posts, doing video interview podcasts. So I just wanted to take a moment and talk about that. So for the written world, as far as doing blogs, things like that, that's phoneblogger.net. Our premier or headline kind of service that we call it is videosocials.net, and you're a member of that as well. And Video Socials is, we do it together. We get a handful of people together in a Zoom room, and we take turns recording, giving each other feedback and suggestions, and so that you're not having to speak to this inanimate object called the camera on your own and imagine that there's an audience. You actually have a built-in audience. So, and then our most recent service, which I'm using now, and Anjel and I are using now, and Anjel is also a client of, is videointerviewpodcast.com. So we handle all the logistics and getting your guests booked and publishing and the whole nine yards in that realm. But Anjel, if I could ask you, what is your experience? Why did you join Video Socials, and what has that done for you?
I joined Video Socials because, part of what I love to do as an attorney is make sure that I am able to provide tools and resources to the community. I think it's so important to know what options you have, so that you can plan and you can, take the necessary steps to get the things that you need. And I know that, video is very popular. I can tell you I was very intimidated by the thought of being on video.
As we're all of us.
But the way that Video Socials is set up, having this community, and having this cohort that you record videos with, you get to see people that have more experience record their videos, and get to figure out what your style is in an environment that's supportive, where you can get great feedback, and you can decide, do I like the video that I've created or not? And if I don't like it, here are some of the things that I can do better next time so that I am pleased with the product. So Video Socials has been wonderful to me. It has increased my confidence probably 10,000 fold, of being on video and just allowing myself to, just be myself.
Well, you're an example of what we created it for, and it's the same for me. The first time that I was on video, even though I had former president of Toastmasters 35 years ago, et cetera, had plenty of experience in speaking in front of an audience. Being on video is different.
It is,
and it's nerve-wracking. Honestly, and it takes a little while to get your confidence and get your sea legs, as it were, under you. And you're another of many examples of people that have gotten involved in the program. It's very affordable, folks. And again, just videosocials.net. We'd love to have you as a guest. Just click on the guest tab at the top of the screen. There's no cost, there's no obligation, and there's certainly no hard sell. But we'd love for you to get a view of it and get some experience with it. So, but I do want to bring it back to those that are considering and feel that they may need Social Security disability. But let's face it, if they're in that situation, there's a very good chance that they may be feeling like, I can't afford an attorney to do this. How can you help them in that arena? What information can you provide?
Sure. Well, Social Security disability attorneys, I like to say that we are a very special group, and we are, for a number of reasons. One of them is that Social Security has rules in place for paying an attorney, for hiring an attorney. So we're not paid like most attorneys are paid. With most attorneys, you have to pay a retainer. They'll say, okay, you have to, come up with $5,000, and my hourly rate is going to be $500 an hour. Right. Well, for Social Security disability attorneys, we have to work off of what they call a contingency fee.
Okay.
And so for Social Security, what happens is the attorney represents you, hopefully wins the case for you. And if the attorney wins the case for you and Social Security owes you back pay, both of those conditions are met, then the Social Security pays the attorney out of your back pay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that means that there's no upfront cost to you to hire an attorney. That means it's to your advantage to hire an attorney, because any attorney that's going to take your case knows that if I'm going to get paid, I've got to win this case. Right. And I have to make sure that my client is entitled to back pay or past due benefits. So there is a level of, there should be a level of confidence, if an attorney is accepting your case, that they feel, I can win this for you, because I have to get paid, I have to keep the lights on and pay the staff. So it's a system that's beneficial for clients because they don't have to pay up front. And sometimes attorneys get bad reputations, right? Oh, this attorney took my money and they didn't help me. Well, that's not how it works for disability. We've got to produce the result that you want, which is to get approved for benefits and to get some back pay in order for us to get paid. And Social Security takes that money right out of your back pay to pay your attorney directly. And the fee is 25% of the back pay or past due benefits that you're owed. And there's a cap of that fee of $7,200. So the attorney's fees for any case could be between $0 and $7,200.
Bless you. because you're willing to do that. You are a special breed then, because that is not the case for the vast majority of other work that's out there. I mean, there are some contingency stuff when it comes to personal injury and things like that. I don't want to say, but that's its own world as well. This actually sounds like it's programmatic. This is a policy based on a government institution that says this is how this is going to work. This is how you as attorneys are going to get paid, and if it doesn't work out, you don't get paid. So it sounds like if they feel that if somebody is looking at trying to get approved for this, one is you certainly don't want to do it on your own when you can have an attorney that's basically at no cost to you.
That's right.
And two is that you want to work with you want to have a conversation certainly with somebody that is going to tell you whether or not and it's frankly in your best interest. So you don't want to put yourself in a position where somebody is trying to take advantage of the system, but you also don't want to put yourself in a situation where, well, this case is probably not going to work out, right? So really what a wonderful thing. And I'm assuming that people can have a free consultation. I mean, basically the services are free, should you choose to pursue it, but so great. So
and one of the things that makes our firm unique is that we will help, of course, clients across the country. So it doesn't matter if you live in Georgia, where my firm is physically located, but I have clients that live in various states. So we can help anywhere across the country. But also, with my firm in particular, if at all possible, we'd like to help you from the very beginning. We would like to be involved, to talk with you about filing an application and have us step in at that point in time and get you started, file that application on your behalf, and navigate through the process with you so that you know what to expect every step of the way.
So that raises another question. What if they've gone a different path and they've tried it on their own already? I mean,
then we're here to help them too.
Okay.
That's right. Okay. At any stage of the process, at any point in the process, you can reach out to us and we will look at the case, we'll look at the circumstances, and we'll let you know whether we can assist you in getting the benefits that you need. So at any point in the case, please feel free to reach out. You don't have to wait for a denial. You don't have to apply on your own. But if you do, it's fine. If you've got a hearing scheduled next week, that's okay too. Give us a call so that we can go over things with you. Again, it's a free consultation, so you don't have to pay us anything to review your case, review your medical records, and talk to you about the circumstances.
Really, it's like it would seem to me if you're considering this, call Anjel, have a conversation, because I just know we have a bunch of attorneys as clients, and people like to wait for whatever reason. They don't want to spend the money. They don't necessarily, they want to do it their own way. There's a million different reasons somebody chooses not to start off with an attorney.
Right.
But this is one of those things that it really behooves you to start off right from the start, just as you're considering it, just as you're, before you start downloading the forms to fill out, etc. Have a conversation, with Anjel, because why would you put, there's so many things that Anjel, that they're going to have to find out one way or the other. So it's either the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is call you.
That is absolutely right.
The hard way is that you get denied. You get you get frustrated with the process. You've got a hearing coming up. Whatever the case may be. That's I appreciate the fact that you're willing to work with somebody that's really kind of coming in last minute and those kinds of things. But why put everybody through the stress? Just
Right.
talk to somebody right up front that is going to be able to guide you, right? Because I mean, that's basically your job, as I understand it, is you're a guide.
Absolutely my job.
Right? So
and even if you want to, I have a lot of clients who, when they initially contacted me, they were still working, but they knew I'm having a hard time.
right,
I'm going to try to keep this job for as long as I can. Let me find out what my options are when I have to stop working.
right,
And that's ideal.
Right.
It could be another year before they're able to go out of work and hire me, but they know that this is the plan if I have to go this route. If I don't, that's great. But
Right.
if I do, I'm prepared because I know who I need to call and I know what I need to do.
Awesome. Well, Anjel, it's been absolutely delightful to have you. Thank you for who you are and what you do and the difference that you make. You're the kind of person that I started doing this podcast for, and because it's not just about I'm an attorney. I have a career and a specialty. You can't do this, especially on the contingency basis. You can't do this unless you actually care about people and are trying to help those that really need your help. And
That's right.
so I thank you for that. Is there anything that in closing that you'd like to? What's the one tip that you would give somebody that's?
The one tip that I would give someone is, if you are working and you know that you are having trouble doing your job,
Mm-hmm.
see if you have the option to get short-term disability or long-term disability through your employer before you stop working. So see if that's an option. A lot of employers, some employers will cover it. Others, you might have to pay, a small premium in order to get those benefits. But for anybody that has chronic health conditions, you should have short-term and long-term disability insurance so that you have some financial backing and support if you have to go out of work. And I don't do either of those things, Mark. I don't do short-term disability or long-term, but ultimately it affects my clients and their livelihood and their ability to get medication and have a place to live if they leave a job and they have no income while they're waiting on disability. So I just want people to be prepared. You can tune into my podcast. I have so many great experts that talk about things that are related to disability that you can learn about, and resources that you can utilize. And again, that podcast is called The Disability.
The Disability on YouTube, and you also, I believe, you post those on your website as well.
Yes.
Right. So we have the disabilityhelpline.com and disability. Which is through Burgess and Christensen on YouTube. And again, folks, there'll be links for all of this in connection with whether you're watching this or listening to this and whatever platform that you're on. Anjel, it's delightful. Thank you for being a member of Video Socials. Thank you for being a client, but most importantly, thank you for the work that you do and the people that you serve.
Thank you.
Take care.
You've been listening to Inspiring Business with your host, Mark Bullock. Your positive comments, likes, and most importantly, your sharing of this show with others is greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to the Inspiring Business Podcast on whatever platform you prefer. You can catch prior episodes on videosocials.net and on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all the major podcast platforms.